yeah, I had never really seen it before I applied. But then I applied and I was like, I really like this. But I have to say, if I had have seen the season of Med that's just gone before I applied, I probably wouldn't have applied.
Really?
That was hectic. That was wild. And I was like not impressed with a lot of the behavior I saw in that. And so yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that put a bit of a bad taste. I think in a lot of people's mouths.
What would have made you not apply? Like what
I
part
think
of
it was
Med?
just like the attitudes on board. Like there was obviously a lot of like lovely people. Like Bugsy means like so well, and like, you know, I don't think Jess was being malicious or anything like that in her intentions. Rob just seemed like gaslighter. But just like that real kind of backstabbing and like I didn't even know what kind of attitude that came from the top. I was like, oh fuck, like is that what, you know, I would have been so scared that that's what have happened on our boat. Luckily Captain Lee is not like that, and Eddie was like a dream bosun. I think I couldn't have asked for a better bosun out of any of the ones that have been on below deck. But yeah, I watched Med, and it literally was like post-traumatic stress just watching it. It was, oh my god. Well, I felt so bad for Hannah. She did not deserve to be treated that way.
So you really think Malia handled that completely wrong?
Yeah, I think it was handled like very poorly. And I think, you know, a lot of people that watch it think it was handled very poorly.
There's a lot, yes, there are a lot of people. And you think Captain Sandy handled it incorrectly too?
Yeah, I think with Captain Sandy, it's quite visible that like, you know, Malia is her favorite and there is like favoritism going on. You know, it's like nepotism in a way. And I think that, I don't know, it just seems like she's had this bone to pick with Hannah, you know, for a long time. And like my take on it was that she finally found something, you know, that she could get rid of her with, because even with like the whole Valium thing, you know, they're saying there was no prescription. In Australia, we don't have like a prescription slip. Like the prescription is on the box. So the box that she had like with her in the office, like actually had a prescription on it. And I think, you know, also the whole stigmatizing of mental health as well, like calling a panic attack like a freak out and saying she didn't feel safe, that someone who'd had a panic attack, you know, was on board. Like as someone like with anxiety and like who does experience panic attacks and stuff like that sometimes, I thought that was like a very, very poor way to handle it. And she didn't seem particularly apologetic about it as well. I think, you know, if it were Captain Lee or if it were Eddie or, you know, anyone like that, it would have been handled so differently and respectfully. So yeah, I think that was just a really poor display of women in leadership.
Who do you think handled it more incorrectly, Malia or Sandy?
I mean, Sandy ultimately is the one in charge. So, I mean, it comes to her to be the professional and to handle it in that manner. But I think Malia has worked on boats long enough. I mean, you know, she's very experienced on boats, but she has worked on boats long enough to know that there is probably a particular way you should handle things. And it doesn't hurt sometimes to have a bit of compassion and empathy and not just like jump to conclusions. Especially when it's being recorded on TV and, you know, where there's already such massive conversations at the moment about like mental health and everything like that. So yeah, I think it was just a very, very poor display of women in leadership, which is really disappointing. So I was so excited for that season when I saw that there was, you know, it was like a female captain, female bosun, female chief stews. So yeah, that probably would have scared me away.